All right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our next admitted student webinar with Texas Tech University. We're going to be talking about financial aid tonight, so I'm going to give everybody just a minute to get in and get started, and then we will begin shortly. Again, we're excited you're here, excited to learn more about student financial aid and scholarships as we get the night going. So again, just a few minutes, I'm going to allow everybody to come in. Just for your knowledge, this is a webinar, so we cannot see you or hear you. We do have the Q&A function available to you. If you want to ask questions, by all means, feel free to do that. But I highly encourage you to watch the entire presentation. Brooks is going to cover a lot of information for us tonight before we get started. So we'll give it just one more minute to allow people in, and then we will begin. Also, as a note, this will be recorded and available on our website, www.orientation.ttu.edu. We'll provide this information there later on this week, so you can revisit it. Of course, you can always contact Student Financial Aid and Scholarships to see what questions you have and how they can help you out. And then Brooks, let's go ahead and get started. So again, my name is Zach Manning. Work here with Red Raider Orientation and Red Raider Camp. We're so excited that y'all are here tonight to learn about student financial aid and scholarships. Again, this is a webinar. We cannot see or hear you, but you do have the Q&A function where you will see some members from the Student Financial Aid and Scholarships team answering questions that you might have. So be sure to use that. If we get too many questions tonight, please note that your name and your email address is being recorded so we can respond to you later on this week with your questions and have an answer for you. So with that being said, I want to hand it over to Brooks Gustafson, who is in our Student Financial Aid and Scholarship Office. Brooks, take it away.
Hello, everyone. That was Zach Manning talking. Sorry, Zach, I didn't have your name and info up there. Zach is with Orientation Services, like you said. I am going to kill my video here, so my face isn't distracting to all of you, but here we are. My name is Brooks Gustafson. I'm Assistant Director of Financial Aid and Scholarships, here to talk about all the things you need to know before you come to orientation this summer and start next fall. So the things we're going to talk about today, cost of attendance, direct versus indirect cost, what cost of attendance is kind of as a whole, student aid index, what that is. Students of you who have finished your FAFSA already, you would have gotten a student aid index, what that means. Finally, we'll talk about the bill, when you'll see it, where you'll see it, how to pay it. We'll talk about some of our 24-25 FAFSA delays. Not all of them, there's too much there to talk about, all in this presentation. And then who to contact for help. Financial aid is really hard. It's not easy. If it was easy, there wouldn't be 40 people in our office helping students with financial aid. So if you do have any questions, send them in the chat today. Find your advisor. Come find us at orientation. There's a lot of people out there to help. So please ask your questions. Don't go blind into these situations. It can be hard. So cost of attendance. Cost of attendance is an average based on these 6 items here, an average of what it's like to live and go to Texas Tech for 1 calendar year. So we have 2 different numbers here. One is for our Texas residents and our bordering county residents. And one for our non-residents. So the only difference here between the 2 is the tuition and fee number, and we'll talk about a way to cover that for you non-residents. Seeing that big scary number there, we'll talk about waivers and exemptions here in a minute about how you take care of that. So 6 things built into cost of attendance: tuition and fees, so the classes you're signed up for; housing, if you're on campus, this is going to be the dorm that you're living in. If you're off campus, it's the apartment or the house or whatever you're living in. Food, that is our meal. So for students on campus, that's meal plans. For off campus, that's just an average based on your grocery costs, that kind of thing for a year. Books and supplies, that's anything you need to be successful in your classes. So the books for your classes, the notes, the codes to do homework, all that kind of thing are built into that cost there. Transportation is the cost to get from your hometown to Texas Tech, get around Lubbock while you were here, home for Christmas, Thanksgiving, New Year's, spring break, all that kind of stuff is built into transportation. And then miscellaneous is anything else. So your trips to Target, your Starbucks runs, if you're into that kind of thing. So that's what is all built into our cost of attendance. There are two different things built into cost of attendance. So direct cost and indirect cost. Direct costs are things that Texas Tech is going to bill you for as a freshman on campus. So tuition and fees, the class you're signed up for, the dorm room you're signed up for, and the meal plan you're signed up for. Those are the only three things you're going to get billed from Texas Tech. Obviously, you need to plan for books and supplies, transportation, and miscellaneous. But when you're worried about paying the bill to Tech, it's going to be those first three things there: tuition, fees, housing, and food there. So just know when you're planning for what it's going to cost to come to school, do the math using those first three numbers. Those other three can be things that you pay for with a part-time job or whatever else there may be out there for you. So competitive waivers. This is this is directed at our non-Texas residents here. So if you get a competitive university scholarship of $1,000 or more, non-residents will qualify for a waiver that covers the difference between non-resident tuition and resident tuition. So our cost of attendance numbers here, the things that we've talked about so far, all of these here, those are yearly numbers. So cut them in half of the fall, half in the spring. So for this, that competitive waiver for you non-residents, if you have a $1,000 scholarship, the deductions in your bill is going to be the $1,000 scholarship and the difference between resident tuition and non-resident tuition. So that $1,000 will be more like $13,000 when it comes to you. So if you lose the scholarship, you lose the waiver. So just because you had a $1,000 scholarship your freshman year, if you lose it for your sophomore year, that waiver goes away too. So you not only are you losing that $1,000, you're losing the $12,000 that comes along with it, and the reductions from non-resident tuition to resident tuition. So please know the renewal requirements for the scholarships that you get. Some are going to be based on the hours that you take at Tech with the GPA you get in those hours. There will be different requirements for different scholarships on campus. So if you do receive one of these scholarships, make sure you know what the requirements are to get that scholarship back the next year. Those competitive scholarships can be from the University Scholarship Office, which would be our office, your college, so College of Arts and Sciences, College of Engineering, College of Business, anything like that, and then your department within that college. Any of these three can offer you a scholarship that would qualify you for this competitive waiver. So those of you that are non-residents that don't have a scholarship awarded to you, make sure you're asking scholarship office, your college, and your department about what you need to do to get that. And then, like we talked about earlier, the value of the scholarship plus the waiver is what applied to your bill. So huge reductions in tuition costs for our non-residents. So financial aid all starts with the FAFSA or the TASFA application. So FAFSA is for United States residents. Students, if you are residents, but your parents do not have Social Security numbers, there is a way for you to fill out the FAFSA with our new 2425 FAFSA application. You can create, parents without Social Security numbers can create an FSA ID so they can log in and submit their information. The TASFA is for Texas residents who are non-U.S. residents or non-permanent residents of the United States. If you are eligible for the FAFSA, you do not need to do the TASFA. Just do one or the other. If you cannot fill the FAFSA out, then you should do the TASFA. You can do the FAFSA on studentaid.gov. For you seniors in high school, you should have high school counselors coaching you up on how to do this. It's a requirement in the state of Texas to get your diploma. So you need to fill out the FAFSA. And then if you're going to come to Tech, you need to send that FAFSA to us. You can search Texas Tech in the FAFSA, or you can type in that school code there, that 003644 school code. If you just search Texas Tech, it'll pull up the Health Sciences Center, it may pull up the vet school or the law school or anything like that. So just make sure you get it to the undergrad Texas Tech campus, which is that school code there. And if you need to do the TASFA, you can get to that on our website. That website there, on there, it'll be everything that you need to submit with the FAFSA. So there are some residence things, paperwork that you need to fill out. There's a checklist of everything you need to complete with the TASFA. All that stuff is going to be found on our website. So the student aid index is what the FAFSA or the TASFA calculates. Student aid index, or SAI, you will see it written as. So in years prior, for those of you who have done the FAFSA in years prior, they used to calculate estimated family contribution, or EFC. The SAI, or Student Aid Index, is replacing that for 24-25. The SAI is just an index number used to determine financial aid eligibility. Common misconception is that that's the amount that you will pay for school, or that's the amount of aid you're receiving. That is not the case. The SAI is presented to you as a dollar amount, which can be confusing, but make sure that you know that that is not the amount you're paying. It is not the amount of aid you're receiving. It's just an index number that we take and look at all of our different federal and state programs and calculate how much aid you're eligible for in each of those based on that student aid index. The student aid index is calculated using all of the information you submit on the FAFSA or the TASFA. So tax information from 2 years prior. So for the 2024 school year, it uses your 2022 tax information, the assets that you have, the benefits that you receive, and then the household size. All of those things, for people filling out the FAFSA, all those things come over in the direct data exchange, which is a new part of the FAFSA this year. In years prior, you had to go through and enter the information line by line. Nowadays, that information comes straight over in the direct data exchange as part of the FAFSA. So Red Raider guarantee. This is Texas Tech guaranteeing that we will cover your tuition and fee cost, 30 credit hours per year, so 15 in the fall, 15 in the spring, through a combination of grants and scholarships. So there's not going to be $1 amount on your bill that is called Red Raider guarantee for the cost of your tuition and fees for the year. It's just a combination of all the different state and federal programs, scholarships that we have. We are making sure that you have enough to cover the cost of your classes here at Tech. So how to be eligible, entering first-year student or a transfer student with an associate's degree, adjusted family adjusted gross income of $65,000 or less. This information will come straight from the FAFSA. So if you've submitted the FAFSA to us and we have this information from you, you have to be enrolled as a full-time student during your time receiving this guarantee. Then you need to have been accepted by admissions with a complete financial aid file by March 15th. So because the FAFSA information got to us late this year, on your FAFSA, we will look at the date that you submitted the FAFSA, not when it got to us. So if you were accepted to admissions and you had filled out the FAFSA and listed Tech on it by March 15th, you've done everything you need to do to be eligible for this. We will review that in the next couple of weeks. No separate applications for this. You're going to be automatically reviewed if you meet these criteria. If you have any questions about it, you can ask your financial aid advisor, but just know that you're going to be reviewed automatically if you meet these requirements and these dates. Nothing you need to do separately. So special circumstances. The FAFSA and the TASFA use 2-year prior tax information. A lot can change in 2 years within your household. When you complete the FAFSA, you have to complete it the way that it asks, using 2 year prior tax information. If you know that something has changed between now and then, or between then and now, you can submit a special circumstance file to us, or its form to us. So anything within your household that could affect your ability to pay for college. So loss of employment for the student or the parent. So if they had a job in 2022 that was on those tax forms and you had lost, if that job is changed or been lost, you can submit this and we can reduce that income difference from the FAFSA and recalculate. A separation or divorce within the household. So if there were 2 incomes within the household 2 years prior, now there's only 1. With proper paperwork, we can reduce those incomes down from 2 to 1. Medical expenses, same there, and then death of a spouse or parent. You can find our special circumstances form on that website there. If you just go to our general financial aid and scholarship website, up at the top are some tabs. You can go through and find our special circumstances form there. So there's a lot of information here. I'm not going to read it all, I promise. So special circumstances is for financial changes. Unusual circumstances is for dependency changes. So the Department of Ed is very strict on who is dependent and who is independent. So you are not independent if your parents will not pay for your college, or parents refuse to, if they refuse to fill out the FAFSA for you, if the parents are unable to claim you, or if the student's ability to demonstrate self-sufficiency. So though these are things that are brought to us a lot, this is not a reason for the student to be independent in the eyes of the Department of Ed, in the eyes of filling out the FAFSA. So if you can answer yes to any of the questions at the bottom here, so 24, married, pursuing masters, active duty military, all these things here, that is a way that you can be deemed independent rather than dependent in the eyes of the FAFSA and the Department of Ed. You can find our dependency change form down at that website there. It's right next to our special circumstances form on our website. There's a lot more information there. But this is some general information on what we need or what you can be eligible for in the eyes of being independent or dependent as a college student. So there are a few different types of aid here. So grants, all you have to do is fill out the FAFSA or TASFA and send that to us each year to be eligible for grant funding. So Pell Grant, Texas Grant, there's some university grants that we have. Scholarships, there are a lot of these. So a lot through a university office, we'll talk about here in a second. Your college and your department have their own. And then anything external from the university. So anything that you got through Rotary clubs in your hometown, teams, groups, anything that you're a part of, parents' jobs. There's a lot of scholarships out there. You just need to go look for them. Work study. So working while you're a student here at Tech, and we'll talk about some of the things that go into that. And hopefully we can pay your bill with those first three. But if not, then there are some loan options out there for you that we can talk about. At orientation, that we have time for one-on-one sessions as part of the second day of orientation. You can sit down with us. We can go over what your cost is, what your aid is, and then how much is left over to pay out of pocket. If you need to do loans, we can talk about loans then. If you want to talk about those now, you can shoot us an email. We can talk about those now, so you don't have to spend time with us at orientation. Waivers, so like the competitive waiver that we talked about in the first couple of slides. There are valedictorian waivers. There are foster care waivers. There's a lot of different waivers. Those are all handled by our SBS office, Student Business Services. All of those things we can talk about too. If you have any questions, send those to us and we can point you in the right direction. And then military benefits, Hazelwood, chapter 33, chapter 35. I think there's a few different of those, but that is handled by our Military and Veterans Programs Office or MVP. They will be there at orientation too. They can answer some of your questions. So two different kinds of scholarships here, internal and external. For incoming students, first-year students, you will apply for every scholarship on campus through your admissions application. There's 8 or 10 questions at the very end of your application. You didn't even know they were scholarship questions, but they were. That applies you to everything on campus. They're all built in. So anything to the university level, anything to your college, anything to your department, like we talked about. And then each year going forward, you will apply for the next year's scholarships through our continuing student application. We'll send that out. We'll email that to you and remind you it's open from October to February 1st every year. So you have 4 months to knock it out. We'll email all those things to you to remind you to do that in the FAFSA or TASFA each school year. And then external scholarships. So anything provided by outside donors from Texas Tech. So these are obviously going to require separate applications for all these different organizations and all these different donors. We recommend you complete 3 or 4 applications a week. The more you apply for, the more money you're going to have. Hopefully that prevents some loan debt that you have to take out. And then you just need to keep track of what you applied for. The more you apply for, the more there's going to be. And then just make sure that you have all the destinations of all the scholarships that you fill out. You'll need to reapply for those each year. So just keep a simple Excel document with websites and due dates and what is required, essays and that kind of thing. So you know that you can reapply to those all 4 years of you being a student here. Going back to this, so that competitive waiver for the non-resident students, those are only eligible for our internal scholarship. So an external scholarship of $1,000 does not qualify for you for that. It has to be something from the university. So this is our incoming freshman merit scholarship program. If you applied test optional, you're just going to use that bottom line there on the grid. So it's just going to use your high school unweighted GPA. And then the dollar amount at the bottom of that row is what you're going to have when you get to Tech. If you apply test optional and you were top 10% in your class, they will add another $1,000 on top of that total there. If you applied with test scores, it's going to use the combination of your GPA and your SAT or ACT score, wherever those two meet. So let's say you're a 385 student and you have a 1300 SAT, you will have a $4,500 scholarship from us. And these are competitive scholarships. These will qualify you for that competitive waiver for being non-resident students. And then the renewal requirements down in the bottom right there, that is how you keep your scholarship for your sophomore, junior, senior year. So whatever the dollar amount is that you get at Tech, that or your freshman year, that'll be what you have for the remainder of your time at Tech. That doesn't mean you're not going to qualify for other scholarships and other scholarship programs, but if you get $4,000 in this program, you're going to have $4,000 for as long as you are meeting those renewal requirements down there in the bottom right there. So this is for our transfer students. So students that stop somewhere between high school and Texas Tech are considered transfer students. If you are coming straight from high school to Tech, you are considered an incoming freshman. You do not qualify for this for those incoming freshmen. If you have dual credit hours that meet these requirements, you will fall into that other group. This one is specific for students that stop somewhere between high school and Texas Tech. So this is based on transferable hours and the GPA within those hours when you come to Tech. And then the renewal requirements for this are based on each term. The freshman one is based on the year as a total. So again, if make sure you know your renewal requirements so you can take enough hours and meet the GPA for those to keep that scholarship going for as long as you're a student here at Tech. So for you incoming students, you may have this award letter already. We mailed these out a couple weeks ago. You might have got an email about it. You may have got an actual paper copy of that. So this is just going over some things that we've talked about already. So estimated cost is our cost of attendance. This is 2 Texas residents here. So it's broken out fall, spring, and then the total year. And then estimated financial aid. So whatever you've been awarded already will be listed there too. So for the first student here, that's Raider Red here on the left. I guess they're both Raider Red, but Raider Red here on the left, he was awarded student loans through the FAFSA and then a $5,000 presidential merit. So that's saying he has $10,500 in aid, the direct costs there, and then the math down there at the bottom. So both of these students, you may all have one of these already. I know we mailed a bunch out. If you don't, you can view that online through your Raider link. But these award letters are something you may have in your hand right now. But this is just kind of spells out the difference between the cost, what your aid's going to be, and how much you need to cover out of pocket. So these are all based on averages, your estimated costs. So this is not what your actual bill is going to be, but this is pretty close to a pretty good estimate. So the bill, this comes from Student Business Services. So when you think about financial aid, think about us as giving you money, Student Business Services taking your money. Okay. If you have questions about your bill, send it to them. They can help that. They can answer those questions for you. But Student Business Services will send that to you about a month before your first day of class. And again, your cost of attendance, that $29,000 number that you saw, is not what your bill is going to be. That's just kind of an average based on all the different things that you could do here at Tech. So the bill will be sent out about a month before the first day of class. So late July or so, you will get a bill that includes anything that you have signed up for. So the classes that you have, the dorm room you've signed up for if you're living on campus, the meal plan you're signed up for if you're living on campus, parking if you're bringing a car, the orientation fee, anything else that you have signed up for will be on that first bill. And it'll be sent directly to your Texas Tech email. Through SBS, you can sign up for that bill to be sent to you and parents, but you have to make them authorized users on your account. You can find the bill in your RaiderLink account under the Student Business Services tab. In RaiderLink, you'll click on My Tech and then Student Business Services, and you'll be able to view your bill there. Again, that won't be until late July or so. And then a big question that we get a lot of in early August is students see their bill and they know they have financial aid, but it hasn't paid yet. We get a ton of calls asking about when the financial aid is going to be applied to the bill. We cannot legally pay out financial aid more than 10 days prior to the first day of class. So when you get your bill in late July, and then 10 days prior, you're going to have a big nasty bill with no benefits, no financial aid, no scholarships, anything like that. It's not going to be on there. Just wait until 10 days prior to the first day of school, and we will pay out all the money that you were eligible for straight to your bill, as long as you've done all the requirements that you need to. We'll have 5,000 people call us, so please don't be the 5,000 at first. Be patient when you get that bill in late July. Just know that by the time that you get here, that money will have paid about a week before the first day of school. Payment plans, $25 to sign up, no interest, anything like that. The payment plans take the amount that you are left to pay, and it cuts it into either 4 or 3 equal parts. So the budget payment plan takes whatever's left over after financial aid and cuts it into 4 equal parts. First one is due August, September, October, November. Those payments are due. And then the emergency payment plan, it pushes your first payment back a month. So if you have to get 529 plans worked out, apply for student loans, anything like that, you can sign up for the emergency payment plan, pushes your first payment back, due date back to September. And then the amount that you owe will be cut into 3 equal parts rather than 4. So same dollar amount, same thing to sign up, but it'll just be cut into 3 versus 4 parts. Work study. So parents, I know you want your kids to work while they're students here at Tech. Work studies is a great opportunity. We hire students in the financial aid office, admissions, orientation. There's a lot of different jobs on campus for students. Federal work study, you are capped at 20 hours a week. So parents, we're not going to overwork your students. You can get on that rsec.ttu.edu website and compare all of the different jobs that are on campus. All of those jobs will be posted August 1st. So all of those summer jobs, they turn over August 1st. So when you are looking for what you want to do part-time as a student, you can get on there and look. Last time we looked, there was going to be like lifeguarding at the pool. There's gonna be like working at Chick-fil-A and Starbucks in the student union building. There was like some hardcore lab research. There is a million different opportunities for work study on campus. Gives you some money in your pocket. That money gets paid directly to you, like any other job would. It doesn't go to your bill. That changed in the last 4 or 5 years. That money goes straight into your pocket. If you want to turn around and pay your bill with it, you totally can, or you can just keep that for some of those other indirect costs of living in Lubbock, those target runs in the middle of the night and whatever else there may be. So work study is a great opportunity for students to put some more money in their pocket, not be overworked. You might go work across the street waiting tables at Chili's. They might not care that you have a big test the next day, but the people on campus are going to be mindful that you're a student. They're going to care that you're passing your classes and doing the things you need to do. So please explore our work study opportunities on campus. So FAFSA delays, as you all know, it usually opens October 1st. It should open December 1st. Usually that information gets sent to us within about a week of you completing the FAFSA. This year, they said they were going to send it all to us January 15th. January 15th, they said, hey, just kidding. We're actually going to send it to you on March 15th. So on March 15th, they started to trickle in. We are getting them slowly. I know that they've sent a lot of those out. The Department of Ed calculated about 520,000 FAFSAs incorrectly and then sent them all to schools. So some of you may have a requirement about the Department of Ed or a calculation error. Nothing you can do to correct those. The Department of Ed is recalculating those and sending those to us. You did everything right. Nothing you can do through the financial aid office to help this. It's all waiting on the Department of Ed for them to recalculate those things and send them to us. So if you have a missing requirement on your account that has something to say with recalculating FAFSA information, that is what is going on, sadly. The ability for those with Social Security numbers to complete the FAFSA was a thing that they talked about being a great opportunity, and then they ended up not being able to roll that out until mid-March. And I think it's been pretty complicated to do for those, even after they've opened that up. And then the ability to make corrections is finally open. It hasn't been easy for people to make corrections, but the ability to make corrections is now open. So for those of you who forgot to put parent signatures or need to update any information on there, you can do it now. But it hasn't been very smooth for people who have. And thank you for being patient. Every school in the country is dealing with these delays. We're working through them as best as we can. Thank you for being patient with our delayed financial aid offers and commitment dates and all those kinds of things. So thank you. It's been fun. So who to contact? That fine aid advisor at ttu.edu. That email there on the top right of the screen. Send an email there. You have people assigned to you based on your last name. You can send an email there. From there, it gets divided up and sent to the advisor that belongs to you, and they will answer. And then you will have their information. You can shoot them emails back and forth. Our phone number is listed there. We have a walk-up counter in West Hall. So if any of you seniors are visiting and want to come talk financial aid, you can walk up to our counter in West Hall. We're open 9 to 4 Monday through Friday. And then here are our 3 websites. So financial aid and scholarships, and then that work study, our sec.ttu.edu website. So you have a lot of people that can help you. Financial aid isn't easy, so shoot us your questions and we will be happy to answer them. And that is all. So thank you all for coming today. If we didn't get to your Q&A questions, we will answer those in the next few days. We have your information. We can answer those.
And Brooks, if you want to head back one slide real quick, just so if you want to take a picture of all those different ways to contact the Student Financial Aid and Scholarships Office. Thank you to Brooks. Thank you to the rest of the Student Financial Aid and Scholarships team for being here tonight. We were very grateful for them. And as Brooks mentioned, thank you for your patience as we work through this year. Our hope is that it is a little bit smoother next year. But again, stop by the office, email, call. We will do everything we can to make sure that you are ready to go for the fall semester. Again, this webinar and many more will be on our website, www.orientation.ttu.edu. I also want to encourage you to make sure you're checking your Texas Tech email. All official communications will be going to your ttu.edu email address. So please make sure you're checking that on a regular basis to get updates from financial aid, housing, Red Raider orientation, and so much more. Again, thank you all for being here tonight. Brooks, thank you for joining us. Thanks for all the great info. And then keep an eye out for other information. I know there's questions about financial aid. There's questions about housing. There's also questions about orientation. Please go check out our website and the previous webinars there. Or please feel free to give us calls at 806-742-2993 for Red Raider orientation. We want to get you taken care of. All right, y'all have a great rest of your evening. Thank you, Brooks. Thank you for being here tonight, and we look forward to seeing you at Red Raider orientation.